Last week, From Software dropped a new free update for Elden Ring Nightreign called Deep of Night. This is a game mode that is essentially the equivalent of New Game Plus from the previous Souls games. Like after defeating the final boss, you are introduced to this new game mode with escalating difficulty based on how successful you are with your runs. Now they do this via a ranking system that has you gain rank points by winning or lose rank points by not winning. And dependent on how high your rank is, or in this instance, how deep the depth is, will be dependent on how many points you lose. Like losing a few games at lower depths can prove to be very brutal. Now, unlike the traditional Souls New Game Plus experience, this game mode adds a lot more interesting things, even compared to Dark Souls 2 New Game Plus. Like it still does have the enemies hit a lot harder and have a lot more health, although the poise across all the depths are the exact same, unlike in base Elden Ring, where in later New Game Plus iterations, it takes a while to stance break. However, Deep of Night also adds randomized red phantoms, so some enemies at random will be a lot more deadly, but they offer double runes and better rewards. And some of these rewards will be cursed gear, meaning that they will not only come alongside some helpful passive effects, but also detrimental ones too. And this exact same system that actually has some buffs and debuffs carry over to the relic system. The amount of relics that you can hold are doubled, and for the most part, the perks that you do get in the last 3 relic slots can be a lot better than normal. Which having all these really powerful relics and passive effects like Black Flame buff on charged heavy attacks, dramatically improved flask restoration on weapon passives, infinite FP regen, or even just having 6 sets of spell boosting relics. Like all these would be way too overtuned for the standard Nightreign game mode, but they can afford to have them in this game mode where it is really hard, and you also are subjected to the plethora of curses, like taking status effects alongside regular damage, continuous health loss, lowered damage negation while healing. Like there is just another hurdle and element to the difficulty that isn't just artificial. And there are so many more ways to play the game now. We literally have viable strength and faith-based builds with the Revenant and the Guardian. The Raider can also be turned into a spellcaster. You can make some tanky-based Duchess builds, which all these things are just additions to this make the game feel a bit more fresh. Like, is the game mode meant to be really well balanced? No, obviously not. It's meant to be extremely brutal, especially at those later depths. So the gameplay is inherently going to be more restrictive, as you're pretty much always better off having things like damage negation at full HP on at all times. So even though you might be subjected to always having certain types of perks equipped, there are certain types of passives and perks that you can find that can help make up for it in that variety department. Now, dealing with all these extra moving parts and all this reading you have to do, while sometimes getting different game modifiers like hidden points of interest or an unknown Night Lord boss can make it be very overwhelming. So obviously, this game mode isn't meant for your casual player. It is very much for the people that have mastered the game and it will starting to get a bit too easy for them. Like you can see this as like a nice reward for the loyal tryhard. So needless to say, I very much enjoy it. Before I get into the next talking points, I just want to share a clip from a video that I made a couple of months ago. I know some other people wouldn't really care for this, but having an additional like hard mode, or what I would like to describe a chaotic mode, and not just having a hard mode where like the enemies have more health and like they give you less runes. Like I mean some actual meaningful changes. Like instead of having these areas where a bunch of trash mobs tend to spawn in, there's still like a really challenging field boss there. Also, all these like randomized events that can occur, just have them be turned up to 11. It could also do something like remove the merchants completely, also making the rain a lot faster too. That some of the most memorable runs that I have are the ones that just go to complete shit. Like getting the worst RNG and having like Morgoth invade you at the complete wrong time, having like the absolute worst circle RNG. And just imagine that, but like happening basically every single game. Like you'd expect a From Software roguelike to be like a lot more unforgiving than it is. So I would actually love to see a game mode where like the success rate for most players will be like less than 10%. Now I know most people would never want to engage with this particular game mode, but it is just a personal wish of mine. So yeah, imagine to my surprise where we end up finding out that we are going to get a different game mode that has different difficulty ranks, as well as more build creation and a more complex reward system that not only has to test my technical skill, but my quick decision making too. This shit just sounds amazing. I love it. I love how much effort it took to have to lock in and overcome these brutal losses. I love how quickly things can go south in a run by opening up an Everjail and seeing red enemies, or not being prepared for the current Night Lord fight because you didn't know what it'll be, or fighting a red boss on top of the castle that has the potential to one-shot you, and then you go ahead and get invaded by Morgoth, then try to retreat and get away so you don't die, only to not outrange the trolls and lose your wilder passive effect, and then go ahead and lock in and win and finish the expedition. Like, it's so gratifying to have all the knowledge and your skills really get put to the ultimate test. Like, every single run that I have nowadays just feels a lot more memorable, and they feel a lot different too. Anything can go wrong at any moment. And the best thing about all of this is that it actually is somewhat randomized, like no picking your own shifting earth events or your own Night Lord. You just click a button and then just go deal with what you've been given. Now, is the game mode balanced? No, of course it isn't. It's not meant to be balanced. Enemies hit just way too hard, and they can just ruin any single type of build that you're normally used to. Like, even just specific character skills that is completely useless in this game mode. The way that I look at it is that you just have a whole bunch of bullshit that you have to deal with, and the game just gives you the tools to just try and figure it out. Now, would I still like to have some balancing changes to some of the characters specifically for this game mode? Yeah, I would. But would I like to see any of this stuff nerfed? Of course not. Give me the bullshit difficulty and let me try and overcome it. Like, that's the whole idea. Now, is this game mode the saving grace that turns this game from like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10? No, it isn't. Well, maybe it is for some, being that like the enjoyment of a video game is very subjective, but for me, it didn't address a lot of the major issues that I did have with this game. Like, a majority of the bosses that you fight in day 1 and day 2 still kinda suck. There's still a lack of variation and points of interest, the relic system is still broke, not enough end game rewards, and there really isn't true randomization either with these set seeds. Now, was I expecting this update to change a lot of these things? No, they didn't. In fact, they actually did surpass my expectations. But yeah, this is just a free update to cater towards a certain target audience of die-hard fans, which, historically speaking, that's a rarity for From Software. Now, despite my realistic expectations for this game mode, and the fact that it is my preferred way to play the game, there are going to be a handful of things that I do have a problem with. The major one being, and I hope FromSoft is seeing this, not being able to pick and choose which depth you want to play in. Like, I don't mind having to beat the previous depth a handful of times just to be able to unlock the later ones, but why the hell am I forced to play in the rank that I'm currently in? Like, this isn't PvP where we have to have skill-based matchmaking. Like, what if I want to test out a build with a character that has less health? Like, I don't want to go into depth 5, especially if it's in trios where it affects my teammates. Like, some characters just feel awful to play at these higher levels. Like, Revenant summons are completely useless. But I also don't want to have to purposefully drop down back to rank 3 or rank 2 just to climb all the way back up to depth 5 again when I want to play a more viable character. Like, it's stupid and ridiculous. Also, speaking of the ranking system, it sucks. Like, it just needs to be removed or just reworked. Like, for instance, the deeper the depth that you play in, the more points that you get for a win, and then the more that you rank up, there are more rewards that you can unlock, and like actual different rewards from software. Like, it's cool that we can get 5,000 Merc and potentially 20 Sovereign Sigils, but Merc is not all that special. Like, I literally did a stream a couple days ago where I spent close to 2 million Merc on Deep of Night relics, and I didn't get a single god roll. If you are adamant on having your relic system be a never-ending grind, then at least have some more tangible rewards outside of gambling. Like, this ranking system was a perfect opportunity to add some like more cosmetics. Like, people love playing the game to unlock cool shit like skins or banners, name tags, weapon skins, like literally anything that adds a little bit of personality to their account or their character. People actually like to grind for those things. And even like outside of cosmetics, the people would love to have a way to be able to customize even just a couple of relics. Like, a ranking system with rewards would have been a perfect opportunity for that. So from a gameplay perspective, this mode is fantastic for people like me. It has me making insanely different builds just to be able to overcome these challenges. And even then, it still requires lots of planning and skill. Like, this is definitely going to be my preferred game mode from now on. I pretty much have no reason to play the regular base game mode anymore unless something different comes up. Now, I can imagine not everyone liking this new game mode, but if they were to change it to allow people to play at any rank, I imagine a lot more people will be playing it, especially just at depth 1. but it is still true that this game mode is designed for people who have a lot of hours, which is fantastic. Every single game should always have a game mode that's designed for the hardcore fans. Like, we play your game every single day. Like, it would be nice if we just ended up getting a little bit of love, and this is definitely that. So for all those people that are upset with this game mode being stupidly hard, it wasn't designed for you. At least not right now, maybe when you have a lot more hours. So overall, I think this update is a great success in my books. Like, it's literally free. You can't really go wrong. Just please, From Software, keep making some more rewards and keep the balancing updates coming. But speaking of the balancing of perks and characters, I will be making separate videos breaking all of them down like I usually do. So if you do want to see some Deep of the Night specific content, definitely do subscribe and like this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next. See yas!